Good morning, everyone. Futures Trader Elite here with your NQ pre-market prep on 11/11. Also, maybe go over a little bit of gold if we have time. So let's pull this chart up. Pop this open. This here is set on the 4-hour. And what I want to look at real quick or go over just on this bigger structure. Last week we was talking about when we was getting these, talking about getting a pullback, and then if we took out these lows here, which we did right here. So just to touch base a little bit on the structure on the 4-hour, we got a really good bounce off of this zone box down here, and we only took out those two lows and had a really big push up. So, and the key here that I'm looking for to see whether or not we're going to continue this downtrend is we need to break this structure right here, which we'll see this on a lower time frame. You can see I already have a precision entry zone box I had set up there. But we need to take this out right here to the upside, because we did put in that lower low right here, but we've had this huge move, or really good move anyway. And if we can take this out and then watch this right here on the 4-hour, let's grab us a line. You see this wick right here on this 4-hour candle? Let's put a line here. That's at 451. We're going to change that to green, because what we're going to look at here, and we may even end up putting a precision entry zone somewhere above this line. So this is a 4-hour candle and it got sucked back up. Okay, retail didn't do that. Once again, that's market makers or institutions right there. And that is from, we say 450 all the way up. They close that candle at 645. So almost 200 points. They sucked that up in that 4-hour candle. And then we just put that line there. If you look back here, before we had that gap up, now not this gap up that we just got, this was the one last week. Look where that candle barely swept that there and got sucked up again right there, which has got to make you wonder. They sucked that up right there, put in this little red candle in this gap. And it just so happens they sucked that candle up right there off that same area almost. So to me, it seems like institutions might be sitting around looking at that spot, or market makers. So that's going to be a key level to the downside. We're at 620. That's at 450. And, you know, like I said, we might put a precision entry zone somewhere above that, because I'm not going to say that they might tag that line. What I'm saying is we need to be watching that, because that is a higher low on the 4-hour since we had that drop down there. So what if they try to test that higher low and say get within 10 points of it or so? We might need to have a precision entry somewhere. We'll look at that on the lower time frame, of course. And then, like I said, to the upside, we really need to break out of this area up here to the upside. What we want to see is a higher high. We don't want, we got lower highs all through here. Lower high, lower high, lower high, all the way down here, lower high. Lower high, and then we put in that lower low. Huge move here, but that's still a lower high than this. So what we need to see is them break above, you know, listen, we need to get above 900. Maybe they'll do that today. Who knows? I think a lot of news coming out this week. Which way are we going to go? We're going to get the push up. We're going to get the push down. Don't really matter to us. It just really don't matter. We're going to play this chart no matter which way they think they're going to push it. Because we're not really trying to predict here. We're trying to react to areas. We react to what's going on. And that's where we got to make sure we have our precision in place. So, you know, if they want to take it to the downside, we'll play to the downside. If they want to take it up, we'll take it up and we'll short it in certain areas to the top side, or we'll go long and flip short. And same to the bottom. We'll short and flip long if we got to. Oh man, I keep moving my boxes around. It's annoying. I don't even know where it was at. Take it off. Always go back and put it on. That's what happens when you start getting too much stuff on your chart, too many areas, and trying to move the chart around. Let's take us down to the 15-minute. Or no, let's switch over to the 1 hour real quick. So you can see we got a 1 hour line on there. Got a couple. That's actually a 4 hour red line. This is a 1 hour red line. And then that big green one at the bottom, that's a 4 hour. Not really a lot of room to put a 1 hour on here. See, if we put a 1 hour starting down here and take it up, then it's not going to look right. So on the 1 hour, I think we should go down to the 15-minute instead of that, looking at that 1 hour. Okay, let's look at this real quick on the 15. All right, so what we're looking at right now is, you see, we got this imbalance zone here. Bullish imbalance zone with a golden pivot in it at 583. So my thoughts on that are, hey, well, you see we had this slow bleed off overnight. Are we going to bounce here? Was this considered a turnaround point? Are they going to consolidate this and take this back up? Well, I guess we'll just have to wait and see. It's like this box needs to come off. Is that imbalance? Yep. This was an imbalance zone that they filled right here. That can come off. Now, let's move this box over a little bit. That's at about 855. Get this over here. So I'd be watching this golden pivot inside this bullish imbalance zone. All right, so something else here. This is the gap up back here the other night. So say they try to pull this to the downside. This is that green line that we had just put in that we need to be paying attention to. 450 area. I want to see, you know, this is on the 4 hour where that candle was with the long wick they sucked up. See, and this is what happened. Since we're on the 15, when we was just on the 4 hour, we had a drop. And the drop is that long wick. The body of that candle was up here. This is where they sucked the wick back up on that 4 hour candle. So we see, let's take us a box, precision entry box. We're going to make one of those. So on the 15, we got this candle here on the line. We got this one here. When I kind of look at this, so for now, I'm just going to go by this candle right here. It's at, say, it's like it's at 460. So I'm going to come up to 470 for now. I'm going to go 480. I'm going to go to 470 to 480. Then I'm going to switch that to green inside the box. Kind of is our last line of defense here to the downside, maybe. If they try to have a pullback, we should be thinking they're going to want to bounce this. They're going to want to put in a higher low, you would think, if they want to take this back to the upside. So we got that little area down there to look. First, we got to get under that pivot. I wouldn't be thinking about this box unless they actually got under this pivot and proved that they was going to go under and keep going down to the top side. Right now, we need to break this 15-minute trend line or 1 hour. It's both. You know, if they can get above this box and and get through there, then we need to be looking at that box there, and that's where that other spot is we was talking about on the 4-hour. We need to take out these highs over here. And so I said 900, I think. Yeah, it would look better to get above this blue line, which is at 910, or even above this pivot. See this pivot right here, this R1 takes out all this. So first reaction up in this area, probably this box that I had put on here, if they could get that high, which is a couple hundred points or so, first reaction short here. We have a previous all-time high is that yellow line, and then we got this rejection box resistance, and then we got the R1 pivot and the blue line. We need to clear all this to even think about the pattern, structure pattern, trying to go back bullish. And then on top of that, if we do all that, then we got this 4-hour line to deal with, this trend line, which is up here by this green line. So, man, it's a lot going on there. And then, of course, if they do drive this up, there might be some first reaction short stuff. If they break this line, you need to be looking at this high. Maybe I'll end up putting a precision entry zone somewhere there, somewhere around this one, you know. And then, of course, this one already is from this over here. But I think that's all I'm going to go over on NQ at the moment. Wait until we get closer to market open. I'll try to get some things posted in live updates in Discord. As of now, my Discord, all my systems working fine right now this morning, but it was yesterday morning as well. And then all of a sudden just started having some weird problems. Hopefully that don't happen to me again today. So I said I want to try to touch on gold real quick. Let's hop over to that just real fast. Got some things mapped out over here as well. This right now, we're still on the 15-minute chart. Look at this drive that we've had. You know, look at this. I want to point out this buy signal. This is the FTE buy signal on NinjaTrader 8. You know, that thing got put in at 18. You know, we had a pullback, looks like almost 6 points or so. Wow, that's a really strong signal. I mean, if somebody's a signal buyer and has other confluences, you know, we got above this red line that I'd put on. That's a pretty solid green candle there on the 15-minute. Then they built this little flag here. You know, had you been watching that and watched this little flag being built on the 15-minute, could have been thinking what you're looking at here is what you're really looking at here. I'm going to try to get us into detail here. So we're in the zone box, and nice impulse candle here. When we had this move and come down and consolidated here, it's hard to look at, but it's kind of the way you gotta view this. Take a line, stick it right here around these wicks. Okay, so impulse candle, and then we had these wicked candles that were getting sucked up, and this is what I'd have been looking at if I was watching this on the 15-minute and seen this signal. This is almost like I guess you could say a mini structure, break a structure ordeal. Well, this is a retest. This actually broke this whole structure, this big candle did, but all these wicks here, this is a little structure break because we had a down move here, come up and retested this, you see right here, then went on down. Excuse me. So that could be considered a small structure break there, and then it retested it here. This could have got put in if you was looking at it this way. Put your orders in here, they get picked up, and I mean, wow, what a move if that's how it was played. But you know, hindsight. But the reason I want to go over that is so that you can watch for that later on down the road if you see moves like that. So here we are. We're up here on this 15-minute trend line, or it's actually a 1-hour trend line. Looks like we're coming down. We got this imbalance zone inside the zone box here. See if they want to try to fill that today. Golden pivots all the way down to 83. I mean, I really think gold needs to cool off a little bit. It's had a pretty good drive up. But for me, what I'm going to be looking at for gold today is I want to see it fill this imbalance zone. And look, we got plenty of them. You know, I want to see it get back down here and test. I want it to come down here and get back around this S1 pivot at least one time. You know, it's a long ways away. It's 100 points, but who knows? I'd be happy to even see the golden pivot. I mean, I'd be playing first reaction bounce to the golden pivot if it got down there. So, and then if it got under it, then I would be thinking, oh, let's short into this imbalance zone, maybe the S1 pivot area. I think that's all I got for gold at the moment. Other than, of course, there's these imbalance zones overhead, a bunch of them from when it had its drop. This big drop over here. So now we got all these imbalance zones. You know, now that I guess the government shutdown is over and it's back open, maybe gold start moving back up. I'm sure that weighed in on the price a little bit. We just had to take it one day at a time with gold. You see, in order to get bullish, real bullish, we need to get back above this area. As soon as we break structure at, let's say, 172 to 175, 170, 175. So let's say we get to 180 and can keep walking this up. That's when it's time to start thinking, hey, break and retest on structure breaks, be watching the pivots and balance zones. You know, we'll start seeing if we can't play this chart out to the upside, but we need to get above this red line for sure. So that's something I'll be watching today as well. Are we going to get above this trend line? Are we going to reject at the R1? Are we going to reject at the 172? If so, what kind of moves do we need to be looking at if we find rejection there? Because last time we got rejection at that line, we had a 140 point drop or so. We worked our way back up there, and then on that drop was down to here, bounced, but then put in a higher low or lower high, and then look all the way down here. I mean, huge move off that second touch to it. So what would happen if we have a third touch? We'll just have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see if they don't break it. That's all I'm going to have for pre-market prep this morning. Everybody trade safe, trade smart, trade with precision. If first time here, smash that like and subscribe so you be notified on YouTube anytime we drop some pre-market preps, key levels, looking at structure. You know, come over to the Discord for free. Hang out with the trading community, see what we got going on there, what it's all about. I appreciate all the support from everybody that I have in there now. You know, trade with precision today. I'm going to try to be updating live in the updates channel on Discord, and I will see you guys in the trade recap. Have a great day.